About a year later, though, I got really inspired for some reason, and I decided to attempt this project again. I read every single book, article, or paper that I could find, and I slowly put something together. My biggest challenge was that I didn't want to have to use any specialized equipment or weird chemicals, and I wanted it to be as simple as possible. I also ideally wanted the sugar that I made to taste good, or at the very least, not poison me. After about a week, I ended up coming up with something that I thought could work. Instead of using enzyme to break down the cotton, I would just use acid, and the process seemed to be surprisingly simple. So I decided to just jump right into it, and I picked up an entire bag of cotton balls. I went with the large ones, just because I felt like it, and it looked like a lot, but it was only about 77 grams. Now, the next main ingredient that I needed was some 98% concentrated sulfuric acid. For all this cotton, I calculated that I needed 230 grams of it, and I poured it directly onto 70 grams of ice. This almost immediately caused most of the ice to melt, and when it was all added, I turned on the stirring. What I was doing here was just diluting the sulfuric acid and bringing the concentration down from 98% to 75. I also used ice to do this because it generated a lot of heat, and the whole solution was now probably around 60 C or 140 Fahrenheit. If I'd used regular water instead of ice, it probably would have violently boiled and splashed, which wouldn't have been ideal. But anyway, when it looked like it was all mixed, I turned off the stirring and I let it cool down to room temperature. About 30 minutes later, it was good to go, and I pulled out the stir bar. It was now time to add the cotton, and I started with just one ball. I then poked it around a bit, and it almost immediately started falling apart. In general, cotton's usually pretty tough, and I thought that it was interesting to see it just disintegrate. It only took a minute for it to become a little gooey blob, and I felt that I was ready to add the rest.